I'm going to give you an introduction to Google Classroom. I want to make sure my microphone is working. It looks like it. Okay. I want to give you an introduction to Google Classroom. When you first log in, your first time here, you probably won't see anything here. Um, it's just classroom.google.com. You can get to it from Gmail if you click on the app launcher and click Classroom as well. I like to bookmark things too, so you can always bookmark it. But again, you can get to it right from the app launcher. So the main page, you'll see any class that has either been created by you or that you are a member of or that you've been invited to. And you can tell you've been invited to that class because you'll see a join button here. And then you can tell if you are the teacher of that class if you see the little analytics and grade book icons for that class. Now, this class and this class here, I am not a teacher in, I'm a member or student, so I see different icons for those things. The quick icons can help you, get to something more efficiently. And then there's also a Google Drive folder for every classroom that you create or that is created. And I'll discuss that more when we talk about the classwork. On the left-hand side, you'll see calendar, and this will show any due dates that you have made for your classwork or any due dates of classwork that have been assigned to you. And this is the same view that the students will see. Resources is going to be covered in a different tutorial or different video, but there are things called practice sets and a new video activity. This is like a ed puzzle kind of where you grab a YouTube video and you can attach questions to it. There's AI built in so that it will create questions for you. And then the practice set is kind of like a worksheet that you might hand out to students, but it's interactive. So it will tell the student if they got the question wrong and then provide resources to support them relearning that material or that skill. It's really cool, but that's going to be covered in a different video too. And then now everyone has Gemini built in. It's free for all Google Workspace customers. And this is very similar to Magic School, where AI is kind of like built out into these different little mini AIs. So you can write a lesson plan, generate a presentation. Some of them are in pilot, some of them are new. These little icons means that it's more of like a chat with Gemini, and then it looks like some of these other ones are actionable. And if you scroll down, you can see a little bit more about using Gemini. So you can start a chat, and that will send you right to the Gemini app or Google site, or sorry, the Gemini site. A Gemini gem that will, it's kind of like Gemini, but it's built on top of like specific sources and topics that you give it. And then Notebook LM, which is not going to be covered in this. It's deserves its own set of videos. But these are all really interesting tools that you can use. And then on the left-hand side, again, you'll see what you're teaching and what you're enrolled in. And then archive classes down here. Settings, this can be important, especially if you get too many emails. Here's where I can turn on or off Guardian Access. This doesn't mean that they can see the student work at all. They just get to see what's been assigned and when it's due. That's it. And again, email notifications and then class notifications if I want to turn them off for specific classes too, completely. Okay, so let's get started I'm going to use my sample class. One thing that I prefer when I'm actually using Classroom to teach, this is not something that I use to teach, I just kind of test out of this class. I like to turn off the stream. And what I mean by that is that the stream here, it shows like everything that I've posted on the classwork page. A lot of teachers actually use this to share out, we have a field trip tomorrow. Oops. And you can share a video, you can share an image. But if you're using this for announcements and you also have it set to post all of your classwork, this can get junked up and all of your announcements can get lost because there's just so many things. So I definitely recommend turning that part off. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If you go to the class settings gear, here's where you can change the description, the section, the room, subject, etc. Right here, I would definitely recommend if you're going to keep the stream and classwork post on, I would definitely recommend either students can only comment or only teachers can post and comment. And then I'm going to hide the classwork on the stream completely and not show the deleted items. Some other um, settings that we have here, most of the time, if you have classes in School Tool, you'll be able to sync your rosters to your Google Classrooms, so you don't have to worry about inviting the students. And here is another section where you, again, can turn Guardian Access on. If you're going to use Google Meet, most people aren't because we're all in person now. And then, and this is fairly new, you can set up your own grading periods and grading scale. And this is particularly helpful if you plan on syncing your Google Classroom grades back to your School Tool. You can set it up just like your School Tool. And then draft grade for missing assignments, grade calculation. That's up to you. Total points are weighted by category, and here's where you can add the category. So you can set this, again, all up just like your SIS gradebook, your School Tool, and then hit save. On the people page, that shows you all of the students and their guardians in your class. So if I go to one that I'm actually teaching, they're not going to have guardians because they're all staff members, but I can invite the guardian. You might already see guardians here because they've been invited to a different class in the past, and they stick to the kid as the kid goes through with their Google account through the years. So you might already see them here, and that's fine. And then classwork page. So we always recommend you to create topics. I'm going to go back to the sample assignment just so I can show you and play around with it. So some folks will create a topic for each unit that they teach, while other folks will create a topic for each week. It really depends, it especially depends on the grade level. If you're in 5th or 6th grade and you're teaching multiple, like science and math to the same kids, maybe you have it by week and then by subject, or maybe I know some of the younger grades, especially during COVID, used the weekly topic. But to create a new topic, click create, click topic. And then I might say this is unit 3, preparing for scientific methods. I'm just making that up. And then you'll see all of your topics. They're like the big bold ones. Students will only see the topic if there's something underneath it. And you can easily drag things around. Once you've created them, if you forget to choose the topic during the creation of one of your items, you can drag it right underneath there. And then let's go back to the create button. You have the options to create an assignment, which requires the student to turn something in. They can turn in a Google Doc, a sheet, a slide, a link to their Canva, an image, a PDF file, and they can upload from their phone, from their Chromebook, whatever you want them to do. They can turn it in that way, and they can turn in multiple types of files. It could be multiple documents or a slide and a doc. So that's really cool. What I also love about this feature is that if you have a template already created for an assignment, I love creating templates. And then what you can do is share that out. Let me just show you one. I'll just choose this one. It doesn't matter. So let's pretend this is an assignment that I created in Google Docs, and I want the students to have an exact replica of this. So I'm going to click add, And instead of students can view the file, that means they cannot edit it. I'm going to make a copy for each student. You do this after you're already done with your template. Make sure that you've done all of the tweaks and all of that. Make tables and drop downs and anything that you want to add to the template. Because this is like your photocopier. It's going to take this and make a copy for each kid and make them the owner and attach their name to it. So if I give this a title, I can add my instructions, I can add links to videos. Um, if you add YouTube here, they'll be able to watch it. They can't get to youtube.com, but they still will be able to watch the YouTube video embedded in Google Classroom. So you can add other materials here. You can add a material that might be view only, like you want them to use the resource, but you don't want them to be able to edit it. Like maybe it's a periodic table. Let me find a good example. Doesn't really matter, I guess. We'll take a minute. I don't know if this here. How about that one? We'll take that. And instead of students can edit and make a copy, students can view. So this is what they're going to use as a resource. Could be a rubric even. And yes, you can add multiple files. I always recommend too to people, like if you are doing a whole lesson and even if it spans a couple of days, like a project, add everything that they need for that particular assignment to this so that it's all kind of joined in together and they don't have to go searching for this file and that file to reference. It's all attached to the same assignment. On the right-hand side, you can assign it to all students or to groups of students. You can now create groups, or just to one or two students. So depending on if you have to differentiate instruction or assignments, you can do it that way. You can assign one assignment to most of the kids and then a different assignment to some of the other kids, or again, do it based on group. Then you can give it a due date. You don't have to, it's not necessary, but if you want it to appear on the calendar, it's a good idea. And here's where you would choose your topic for it to show up on the classwork page. For points, you can just put any, whatever is going to be the point value for this or ungraded, depending on what it is. If you have categories and grading periods set up, you collect all that information there, put that in. And when you're ready, you can either schedule this for a later date and time, you can save it as a draft, or you can immediately sign it. And once it's assigned, it will appear on the classwork page. And I put it under Cami, I think, right there. So then once it's assigned, if you click, really anywhere here, but if I click on assigned, I will see my list of students. And then their documents that were make a copy for every student will populate here automatically. You don't have to do anything. So you'll see all the list of students, and then once you click on them, you'll see their document. So you can pop into their documents anytime. You don't have to wait until they turn it in. Another nice thing is if they turn it in and then unsubmit it, you can see all that history too. And if they do submit it, they can't edit it. So you can either return it or have them unsubmitted if they're not done, even though they turned it in already. So it's very flexible in what you can do. If you have any questions getting started, feel free to reach out, book some time with me.